Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2420 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. In today's Wisdom Nugget, I'll guide you through the vast landscapes of biblical wisdom. Today we're going to be exploring Psalm chapter 9, verses 1 through 10 from the New Living Translation. This psalm, attributed to David, is a powerful song of thanksgiving and praise for God's justice and protection. Let's embark on the exploration and uncover the profound truths within these verses. Psalm chapter 9, verses 1 through 10. I will praise you, Lord, with all of my heart. I will tell of all your marvelous things that you have done. I will be filled with joy because of you. I will sing praises to your name, O Most High. My enemies retreated. They staggered and died when you appeared. For you have judged in my favor. From your throne you have judged with fairness. You have rebuked the nations and destroyed the wicked. You have erased their names forever. The enemy is finished in endless ruins. The cities you uprooted are now forgotten. But the Lord reigns forever, executing judgment from his throne. He will judge the world with justice and rule the nations with fairness. The Lord is a shelter for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Those who know your name will trust in you, for you, O Lord, do not abandon those who search for you. David opens this psalm with a declaration of wholehearted praise. I will praise you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of all your marvelous things that you have done. Verse 1 sets the tone for the entire psalm, emphasizing the importance of genuine and complete worship. David is not just offering lip service, he is praising God with his whole being, recognizing God's countless blessing and acts in his life. In verse 2, he continues, I will be filled with joy because of you. I will sing praises to your name, O Most High. Here David expresses the joy that fills his heart as a result of God's presence and actions. This joy leads him to sing praises to God, acknowledging him as the Most High, the supreme ruler over all. These opening verses remind us of the importance of gratitude and the joy in our relationship with God. They encourage us to reflect on God's marvelous deeds and respond to his heartfelt praise. Verses 3 and 4 highlight God's justice and victory he brings to his people. My enemies retreated. They staggered and died when you appeared. For you have judged in my favor. From your throne you have judged with fairness. David recounts how his enemies retreated and were defeated by mere appearances of God. The victory is attributed not to David's strength, but to God's righteous judgment. God's justice is further emphasized in verse 4, where David acknowledges that God is judged in his favor and fairness. This verse underscores the theme of God's divine justice, a central aspect of God's character. It reassures us that God sees our struggle and will act justly on our behalf. In verses 5 and 6, David reflects the fate of the wicked. You have rebuked the nations and destroyed the wicked. You have erased their names forever. The enemy is finished in endless ruins. The cities you uprooted are now forgotten. These verses paint a vivid picture of the complete and utter defeat of the wicked. God's rebuke is so powerful that it leads to their destruction and erasure from history. The imagery of the endless ruins and forgotten cities serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of wickedness. It highlights the transient nature of human power and the enduring nature of God's justice. These verses cause us to consider the ultimate fate of those who oppose God and align ourselves with his righteousness. David contrasts the wicked's faith with God's eternal reign in verses 7 and 8. But the Lord reigns forever, executing judgment from his throne. He will judge the world with justice and rule the nations with fairness. While human powers can rise and fall, the Lord's reign is eternal. He sits on his throne, executing judgment with perfect justice and fairness. These verses remind us that God rules his steadfast and unchanging nature. God's eternal reign is the source of hope and assurance in a world often marked by injustice and corruption. His judgment is always just. His rule is always fair. The eternal perspective helps us to navigate life's challenges, knowing that God's justice will ultimately prevail. In verses 9 and 10, it offers a beautiful picture of God's protection and faithfulness. The Lord is a shelter for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Those who know your name will trust in you. For you, O Lord, do not abandon those who search for you. Here David describes God as a shelter and refuge for the oppressed and those who are in trouble. This imagery conveys a sense of safety and security in God's presence. The promise in verse 10 is incredibly comforting. Those who know your name will trust in you. For you, O Lord, do not abandon those who search for you. Knowing God's name implies an intimate relationship with Him. It speaks of trust built on experience and knowledge of God's character. This verse reassures us that God is faithful and will not abandon those who seek Him. It encourages us to cultivate a deep, trusting relationship with God, confident in His unwavering support. As we reflect on Psalm chapter 9, verses 1 through 10, several key lessons emerge that we can apply to our own lives. The first is, praise with wholehearted gratitude. Like David, we should praise God with all of our hearts, recognizing and celebrating His marvelous deeds in our lives. Let our praise be genuine and filled with joy. Second, trust in God's justice. Remember that God is the righteous judge who sees our struggles and will act justly on our behalf. Trust in His fairness and judgment, especially when facing opposition or injustice. Third, understand the consequences of wickedness. Reflect on the transient nature of human power and the ultimate downfall of the wicked. Align ourselves with God's righteousness, knowing that His justice will prevail. Fourth, find security in God's eternal reign. Take comfort in the eternal reign of God. His unchanging rule offers us hope and assurance in a world of uncertainty and injustice. His judgment is always just, and His rules are always fair. And fifth, seek refuge in God. Embrace God as our shelter and refuge, especially in times of trouble. Develop an intimate relationship with Him, trusting His faithfulness and knowing that He will never abandon those who seek Him. Applying these lessons in our daily lives can deepen our relationship with God and transform how we face challenges. Wholehearted praise fosters a spirit of gratitude and joy. Trusting in God's justice gives us confidence and peace in the face of adversity. Understanding the consequences of wickedness helps us to stay aligned with God's righteousness. Finding security in God's eternal reign provides us hope and assurance amidst life's uncertainties. Seeking refuge in God strengthens our faith and trust in His unwavering support. As we conclude our exploration of Psalm chapter 9, verses 1 through 10, let's carry these lessons with us on our journey. Praise God with all your heart, trust in His justice, understand the consequences of wickedness, find security in His eternal reign, and seek refuge in Him. By doing so, we'll align ourselves with the Psalm's timeless wisdom and navigate life's complexities with faith and assurance. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Wisdom Trek. May these insights from Psalm chapter 9 inspire and strengthen you as you continue your trek through life. Until the next time, keep seeking God's wisdom, cherish each moment, and continue to positively impact the world around you. If you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.